The God has promised such great things that the Bible is indeed packed with them. Join me as we uncover these promises one by one in our new sermon series, The Promises of the Living God. Below I have added links to my previous sermon series based on the leadership lessons from King David's life. The first promise we are going to look into is being a state of being blessed. Let's read together Revelation chapter 1, verse 3 to understand this promise. Blessed is the one who reads aloud the words of this prophecy, and blessed are those who hear, and blessed are those who keep the words that are written here, for the time is at hand. Blessed comes from the Greek word makarios, which means blessed or being in a state of happiness. For example, you can look into Jesus' Beatitude Sermon on the Mount, which is recorded in Matthew chapter 5, verses 1 to 11. The book of Revelation was written at a time when writing materials were expensive and scarce. Nor was there any inexpensive means for producing copies of a written document. Instead, it was tedious copying by hand for replication. Therefore, one assembly would have only one copy and it was read aloud to the congregation. Thus, the phrase, "He who reads and those who hear the words," implied the blessing to the reader and the listener at the same time. For example, presently I am reading a part of this book to you. Who is a listener? Therefore, both you and I are blessed. None of the other books in the Bible carry this unique blessing applied here. So it is very important that you spend time reading this book aloud in the presence of your family members, especially the younger kids who will be blessed upon hearing this prophecy. It will be also a blessing if you spend time reading this book among your prayer groups, among your church community. Now, for centuries, churches have been ignoring this book altogether for the fear of the future, as this is a prophetic book that will take you to the end of the time. This is a favorite book of ours to read and listen to the sermons based on this book. I personally invite you all to read this book of the prophecy and listen to the sermons based on this book. There are many qualified servants of the Lord who decipher the book for your understanding. I have added links to sermons based on the book of Revelation that we as a family use to meditate. Now let's look into the next phrase, those who keep the words that are written herein. Keep means to watch over, to preserve. It is not just the study, but keeping them in our daily lives. Keep is the present active participle, which implies while holding fast. The people are told to be continually hanging on to the teachings which John writes. This required focus and energy and implied the need for watchfulness in order to avoid having them taken away. One aspect of keeping those things which are written involves an eagerness to learn the meaning. Therefore, listening to sermons to understand them is very important. It is not enough that we read and hear, but we must keep these things that are written in our memories, in our hearts, in our minds, in our affections, and in practice, and we shall be blessed. For the time is at hand. Close to 2000 years has passed since it was written, and since Romans chapter 13 verse 11 reads, "Now is our salvation nearer than we have believed. Therefore, we must keep on reading it in faith. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Dear friend, if you know someone who needs this message, that can use it as a word of encouragement, I'm asking you to share with your friend. Use this message as a tool to encourage someone.